All right, folks, welcome back.
We
We are
probably should
excited to
do these
continue
in
talking.
threes, not twos, just because we're at the third Zodiac, so we should probably talk about each section of Zodiac in three sections.
I mean, I think we definitely have enough to talk about, I think, with
That
all
takes
the.
some. I also remember that especially like we talk about. I worry about Leo or the middle.
Mm,
Um, I love Leo. Leo's probably. I mean, I love all of them, but Leo has a special place in my heart, and I hope it doesn't get middle child because I feel like it can get lost in the mix of things
yeah,
between Capricorn. I don't and the newest one, but Leo is Leo's a
yeah.
good one.
I
Leo's
am
a
look
good.
I am looking forward to going back and listening because actually it's been longer since I've listened to that one than actually the others. So
No, I get that, but
yeah,
like Leo's a good egg. Leo's a good
yeah.
egg. It's good dude. Okay, so hey, oh wait, it. Oh shoot, you know what we forgot to do? Stay there for a second. Stay there.
Okay,
Don't.
Frozen. Oh, I forgot to change shirts.
Yeah. Okay,
All
it's
of a
cool.
sudden, it's a different day. Boom.
To, I wish I had this vision of this shirt going on real fast, and it just didn't work out. Okay, tie this up. Yeah. The thing about I like making clothes. I like screen printing quite a bit. But the thing is, like when you're making your own designs, like this guy right here,
Mhm.
um, you're just selling. If you're having a bad week and it's your own design, you're just selling other people your bad week, and then they wear it. That's a weird emotion to have.
That isn't
See,
well.
this says a void, right, with the null
Uh,
symbol for the O, and that means that I feel like a void, and also you probably should a void, you know?
exactly.
Now I'm better than I was that week. And then the back is
But
a thing from Nancy, and it's a dude wearing a mask. That's not good. Hi, Andrew.
hi, Brandon.
Yeah, you never want to start exactly the same place. Start that timer, Andrew.
There you
There we go. Boom. Love
go.
it.
Boom. All right. Well, excited to continue talking about Capricorn here.
So yeah, we're talking about Capricorn. This is Capricorn part two. We discussed a little bit between recordings about who we wanted to talk about. And this is so I sent the image to Andrew, the very first one with the big moon, and Andrew decided that it looked very noirish. So that really kind of set the tone that I think even today we are either playing against or playing with still. Like there's still
Yeah.
a neo noirness that
There
is
is, it's
evoking.
definitely evolved, but I think it's still there. The other thing that really was just the thing just from the very beginning that really kind of set the tone as well, at least musically, is that there's a lot of droning.
Hmm.
There's a lot of the pedal tones, the drones, like throughout the entire thing, and in different ways, like sometimes in very dark ways and sometimes in less dark. But that's definitely a result of that very first image over there.
Hmm.
And that just kind of continued with a lot of it because there's a lot of droning, a lot of meditative kind of stuff.
And I like all this stuff. I love sampler. I love
Mm,
illegal hold music. When the Saints come out, I'm gonna love that. But I do say, what I will, I do want to point out that one of the things I still like is we are now on the fourth take
mm,
of Capricorn, a fourth take of Zodiac, and it's still a discussion from the very first
mm,
image. There's still a through line that is
absolutely.
important, and we kind of lucked out on that because I
Yeah.
had an image already sitting around, and I uh I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait for you. Like
Yeah.
if the decision if it was going to get done, I didn't want to have you come with like a month later
Yeah.
and go, "Well, I made a song, sort of. Do you want to do something?" and have it not in my head. I want to here's the image.
Yeah.
And what's good about me going first
Mm,
is it always ends with another image to start the next one.
exactly. Yeah.
And that was not planned either. Like could that
No.
could have it could have ended unevenly. And
Right.
actually, I sent you the next one for Leo.
Mm,
I sent you the one for Leo just because I wasn't sure about the math, and I was like, I'll just do one more. So the
yeah.
one for Leo
Mm,
exists because I didn't do the math right. The first one for Leo.
yeah. And I do like how that was a happy accident that happened
Yeah.
because I think yeah, I think you even called it an epilogue, I think.
Yes, I did.
And so because originally weren't even sure like if we were going to keep doing it or anything like that. But what was nice is that I had that image, and between between the zodiacs there's always like at least 2 or 3 months. And so that image that you always send at the end gives me a way to go back and connect, what we're doing. And it's just it's a really beautiful, simple thing. It's a simple thing, but it's just a really beautiful way to connect all of them, I think.
Yeah, I think, and it's just, and I wish I could claim that we were geniuses and figured it out on our own, but we just dumb lucked into that one.
Totally.
And epilogue exists. The first image, the epilogue for this one, and the first image for the next one exists just because I couldn't math. Like, I was just like, I don't know. I'm just gonna, because it was bad. Because once you get to the Zodiac, and I think you'll agree, is such an arc of a project that, like, the beginning we're sort of feeling it out, the middle you're really into it, and the end is this like fist fight of a slog to just be like, here's an image, here's an image,
Exactly,
here's an image. And this one, I don't know why it was that we both got in our heads we had to finish in a semester. That was like the big thing. So like we're just moving faster and faster, and the images are getting denser and weirder. So for this image, I wanted to point this out. This is the closest thing one of the closest things we have to a character in Zodiac. It's denoted by two things. There are through lines in Zodiac that I don't tell you about, that I'm telling you about today, that I don't even know if you know exist. One is the black ball that exists above his head. That shows up over and over again. And two, it's the upside down triangle on the top of his hat. And that is how I denoted throughout, if there was an eye over a character, that was the same character throughout. So if there isn't an eye, it's not that character. If there isn't an eye or an upside down triangle over their head, it's not that character. But if it is an eye, it is that character. The character is the detective.
Yeah. And that's really cool. Like I didn't know about either of this specifically, which is kind of cool, again, to have these conversations about it. Excuse me. But but even though I didn't, because that's the other thing I think that has sort of happened, is that you and I kind of create stories that are kind of similar, at least emotionally, but very different details, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like I wasn't aware of like the symbolism specifically of that, but I did notice them coming up,
Yeah.
And
did I know I told you. I'm gonna tell a lie real quick.
Okay.
Go to the very next image, I think it is.
Sure.
No, the one after that. Sorry. Shoot, the one after that. We can go back. So yeah, if you look at this, it's two characters talking to each other, and the one on they look completely different, but the one on the bottom right has that eye, so it's that character that they're talking to each other.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, if you go back one, if you go, but you don't have to physically do it, but if you look at those two images before, there's one of walking, and then there's a character that's introduced with all these balls around his head, and then they're talking to each other. And in my mind, that was in a hotel, and the detective was talking to like a maitre d'.
Well, and the thing, like particularly like the eyes that kind of come up, like that's one of my favorite things, favorite recurring things, I think, that comes up like in your art, I think.
Well, it's not going to be in Leo. Oh yeah, Then this is noting it's a flashback. That's how I did that one.
Yeah.
What's also interesting about Capricorn is the layering that happens in Leo, and the newest one isn't in Capricorn. There are some very flat images and images I don't think I would do that way now.
Yeah.
Well,
excuse me, hold on.
Okay. Are you okay, buddy? Is that sneezing? Was he sneezing?
Just coughing, but thank you.
Okay. Okay. Glad you're back. Whew, that was tense.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. Like there's musically, I feel like I feel like as your images have gotten more complicated and layered, the music has also gotten a lot more layered as well. So it's been really reflective, I think, because the whole idea of Zodiac, the way it's turned in, is that we're playing off each other, and so it's not just image to image. It's really, I think, sound to sound, image to image, and feeling to feeling, emotion to emotion as well. And like all of that has been sort of building and building and building throughout the three Zodiacs, I think.
Yeah. So that's a radio station. And then if you go to the next image, I think just the right next to the next one. Yeah. So that's the one I was kind of embarrassed to send you. And I have this problem, and it's a problem with my art, is it's a communication problem, and that's bad. But like, because I work bright and I work colorful, sometimes the not happy feelings I get um aren't shown. Like people are like, "Oh, when I did the gallery show,
Mm,
everything is always true all the time," and a lot of this happened before he showed up, which I named before I found out about that movie that I do really like.
mm,
Uh, Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so much fun! It's so bright and colorful," and I'm like, "Oh, like if you look at the title, it's about being overwhelmed and
yeah,
this loudness that I feel, and it's not like there's funniness to it, there's charm to it, but there's also a level of despair and violence that's pretty
yeah.
clearly here in my mind that I don't know if if you know if
It's
you cut off if
yeah,
you cut off a Looney Tunes head, it's always funny. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I do think this image was an image where like before I sent it to you, I felt weird about sending it to
Hmm.
you. How
I
do
mean,
you
it's interesting you say that because I feel like a lot of your imagery is very dystopian, very kind of dark, and it's interesting that a lot of people respond to it in sort of a bright, happy way. I don't know. That's,
I mean, some of it is bright and happy. I'm not
yeah.
pretending like it's not. But like when I did the
Mm,
sticker machine, everyone went,
mm,
"Oh, it's a sticker machine. That's really cool." And
yeah.
I did the sticker machine. And I called it a What was it? It was a mechanical sculpture, a self portrait. And I made all the stickers. I designed all the stickers. They were art that could be interacted with
Yeah.
by yourself and that you could touch. But in a gallery space, something called that is called a self portrait is I am selling pieces of myself for 50 cents at a piece.
Uh-huh.
And I think that got completely lost. And
Yeah.
that's okay because it was so no one it was so fun
Yeah.
and charming. The like I don't feel great about capitalism, which is one of the things that
Yeah.
really is about Yonko,
Yeah.
is I don't feel great about capitalism.
Hmm.
It's called Yonko LLC. It's the it's the Jay-Z line, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman."
Yeah.
Um Taken to the David Cronenbergian extremes of someone physically becoming a business.
Mm,
And especially in Zodiac 1,
yeah.
it's all about dystopian state. The monsters have come, we lost, get over it. Like that's
Yeah.
what Zodiac 1 is about.
Yeah. And I think and we'll probably get into this more with like Leo and Pisces as well, but I think
Mhm.
that the storyline has, or that I guess I don't know if the storyline really is what it is, but the concept has definitely changed. But I feel like that core of it that's really what it is, and even with other Yonko projects, I mean, because I think when we started calling it Yonko and developing the sort of concept of this you know uh,
Mythos.
capitalism overlord,
Yeah.
but like Zodiac was Yonko at that point. Like
Hmm.
we didn't have like the other aspects of it, but even like with other things, because with illegal hold music and um I mean it's very much there, in the whole music as well. And then sampler, like kind of to a certain degree, just by sort of the whole aesthetic of sampler, kind of what it
Hmm.
is. But I think maybe not as obvious there, but just in sort of the background with that.
I also feel like Sampler's in the background, but also, and this is because we are human beings. The thing
Yeah.
about that I like about Sampler is a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
Sampler is it's a little cutesier.
Yeah.
It is a separate piece that I like a lot. I love
Yeah.
Sampler, but it's a different vibe
It
than the
is, yeah.
rest of everything.
Yeah, and definitely, and like the Saints, which will probably be coming out, uh, we'll just say soon. Who knows when it'll come out? But
The
um,
Saints will probably come out before we're done doing the review of
yeah,
Zodiacs.
let's hope that's the case.
Yeah.
But even that, I mean, that was, I think at one time we called it a spin-off of Zodiac,
Hmm.
and I think that's very much appropriate, because it still has that kind of overlord aesthetic to it, I think, and with everything they were doing. But anyway, like I'm sort of getting sidetracked. Let's
No, that's okay.
let's
We're talking about Zodiac. I mean, it's been a
yeah,
while since we talked about everything else except Yonko, and as our 1 year anniversary just
exactly.
passed again, our second 1 year anniversary just passed. I think it makes sense to kind of it is always it's sort of one and it is sort of one group of it's all the projects are sort of always interlocked
Yeah.
under the
Mhm.
name Yonko, up
Right.
to including this, which is a little self-staring, but oh well.
Mhm. Right.
So yeah. Do you have anything to say about the? This is also when the music starts getting really dark, and we can't seem to pull out for a while
It's true, yeah. And
in
I remember
Yonko. And
even I think when we were talking after this one as well, I remember us talking about that. And at some point, I think it was probably you just sort of did a total left turn just because we had to get out of it, I think.
yeah, I don't even because I think this one was really hard because I just remember it getting darker and darker,
Yeah.
and then eventually, and it's actually one of the things that gets lost a little bit,
Mhm.
is because it's about, in my mind, um, Capricorn is a. It starts out as a noir. You meet the detective. He tells you a backstory, and then the backstory is about an alien invasion, and then when you come back, the alien invasion has already taken place.
Mhm.
What do you view Capricorn as?
Well, I think so I didn't have you know, again, like I didn't have that detective part. I
Hmm.
mean, I knew there was a detective in there. But like that sort of layered thing, I think with all of it, like creating a lot of the beginning, what's interesting thing I think at the beginning of this one is that it took me a while to sort of uh realize, you know, that this kind of story was happening because
Hmm.
for me, especially definitely I think like probably the first half, like even up until this part right here, I think I was still viewing it sort of as image to image, you know,
Hmm.
not necessarily connected and that kind of thing. But then after a while I finally, you know, started to realize that everything was sort of getting connected, and that's where uh things started to take shape. And I think that's why for me, like moving into Leo and Pisces, like it starts to become more connected, I think, because I'm paying more attention to that kind of thing, which I wasn't doing like at the beginning of this. You know, for at the beginning of this one, I was just looking sort of one to one, you know, and that kind of
Hmm.
thing.
There is, and I still like it.
Hmm.
There is a disconnect in this one that Leo and Pisces doesn't have. Like each
Yeah,
piece is sort of separate, and then you
exactly.
see, if you stare at it long enough, you can sort of go, "These feel like these might go together." But I would
Hmm.
argue for Capricorn, they're all more separate than before. And we're out of
Yeah.
time again. We just did it
Oh,
again.
geez. All right.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
it.
Well, thanks
We
for
gotta put on
yeah.
another shirt, dude. Put on another shirt.
That's all right. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and
Thanks.
we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week.